So I just realized it's been like forever since I've done one of these videos, so I figured I might as well do an update. Um, so I can't exactly remember what I was talking about in the last video, but I do remember that I said I was going to start reading Al Brooks' book, which was kind of hard to say that, but I didn't keep doing that. I read like a few pages, maybe for a few days, and decided I was better off just looking at the charts on my own, which is funny because what I'm about to say is, or which is funny because what I'm about to say, I got the Top Pick Trading lectures. Um, they are a group of guys who studied under one of the moderators on Max Form from Price Action Trading System, and they all saw some great success doing basically the same exercises that they released on their website. It was kind of costly, and I really hate buying trading material because a lot of it is just BS. But I mean, I've talked to these guys a little bit. I've sort of watched them grow as traders, and I can tell that this is something that's real. So I figured it's probably worth it, though it was about like $400, and that's pretty expensive. um, so I've been working through that. I've only gotten, let's see, I mean, I've only gotten like 4 lectures done or something like that. And the reason is because there's these homework exercises that are assigned throughout, and they take quite a bit of time to go through. And I mean, I could just watch all the lectures and not do the homeworks, but I think I wouldn't get as much out of it. So I've been doing those and spending a lot of time on them. And that's sort of taken the place of studying individual concepts. I still look at each individual concept that I've been looking at. There's like 14 or 15 of them. I still look at those on each day, each trading day after I'm done. But I haven't been really digging into max charts and breaking them down that way like I usually do, because I've just been spending the time doing the homeworks instead. They take up quite a bit of time. So been doing that, I would say, at least 2 hours a day, sometimes 3, maybe even sometimes 4. Depends on the day. 4 is kind of a stretch, but I think I've done probably 4 hours of that in a day. And that's pretty helpful. But I actually haven't seen any results in my trading, which I'm not super surprised about because, like I said, I'm not super far into it. And I know in some of the last videos I was talking about how I started going for 2 to 1, so going for double the risk, so getting each reward, I guess, was double the risk. And that really shot up my equity curve. But it sort of flattened out. And now I've just been kind of taking targets that I feel are reasonable, maybe 1 to 1. Maybe it's just getting out before the next support or resistance level. And I mean, really, it's just gotten flat, which is better than down, which it used to be down. But, nothing spectacular. And I'm not really too worried about that. I mean, I'm only about, well, gosh, I'm getting kind of far into this journey, but I'm about a year and 8 or 9 months now, something like that. But I'm still not too concerned, I'm putting the time in, and I know the results will come. And one thing about that is, I know I've sort of talked about how I'm graduating soon and sort of worried about what I'm going to do as a job and how I'm going to still be able to trade. And there's a business venture that I'm thinking about entering with another guy. It's doing corporate events and doing a business that way. And it could be a decent amount of money. I could build a business, and the times wouldn't really interfere much with trading. So I'm really looking at that. I've been spending a decent amount of time, again, on that, just talking to everyone that I can think of and just trying to think through it if this is the right decision. But just through that, and even having that as an option, has sort of taken some weight off my shoulders in the fact that lots of times whenever I think about trading, I think that, or at least I've thought for a long time, that I need to be profitable by this upcoming May, whenever I graduate from college. And having a job like this that would allow me to trade would really take that weight off, so I can really just take it at my own pace. And that's not saying that I would study less, or hopefully I wouldn't study less, but you never know. But yeah, hopefully I wouldn't study less, but it would just take the stress off because I wouldn't be as worried about it, I guess. The only other sort of notable thing that I wrote down here, I just kind of jotted down a few notes beforehand, was that I've gotten sort of back into meditating. And I never stopped meditating, or I mean, I guess last month I only meditated maybe 2 or 3 days each week, and it was for short amounts of time. And I think the week before or the month before that too. So less than I used to, because usually I would do 20 minutes almost every single day. And recently I've gotten back into that, and it feels really good to get back into it. During that period, whenever I was meditating less, I noticed that whenever I would meditate, that it wasn't really meditating. It was more so I would just sit there and thoughts would just flow through, and I couldn't really clear my mind. It was more of a thinking session than a meditating session. If you haven't meditated, then I'll sort of give you a quick rundown. It's basically you're just trying to let the thoughts flow by, and you're not trying to interact with them. But I felt like I couldn't do that. I was sort of just following every single thought down its trail and just seeing where it led, and it's not the point. And I feel like I'm getting back to the point where I sort of used to be. And I mean, I haven't really noticed that carry over to the charts, but I know that it will. And I guess another thing that just sort of comes to mind as I say that is I've been listening to music as I trade. And at first I was thinking, wow, this is a really great idea because I don't get as bored. I mean, sometimes you get really bored trading. I mean, I don't know, I love it, but like, it's not always fun. I mean, you sit there for probably 3 hours and maybe there's like 10 or 15 times where I'm like, oh, okay, like maybe there's a trade, and then there's not. And then I sit there for another 20 minutes, it can get kind of boring. So listening to music at first, I thought it was really helpful to just sort of pass the time a little bit. But I quickly noticed, and I especially noticed today, that it really takes my attention off of the charts. If it's just looking and skipping songs, even just that little bit of attention being off of it. And another thing that I've noticed is whenever I'm listening to fast-paced music, I really want to take a trade. Or if I'm listening to slow music, I'm sort of more relaxed, not really wanting to take a trade. But I don't know. I feel like it's just an external thing that I should just get rid of and not really mess with. And part of that, and part of why I started to listen to music, is I used to have this blocker on my browser. So during the times of about 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. every day, Eastern time, it would block every single website. I couldn't go on any website. And I did that because sometimes I would go surf the web. Something would come to my mind and I'd go Google it during the trading day. And that's not good because it would, again, take my attention off of it, and take my attention off of it in a big way. But I removed that from Chrome. And at first it wasn't an issue. It was like, okay, well now, I could listen to music, or if the occasional thing came to my mind, maybe I would go write down or I'd go look it up, and that's okay. But quickly that turns into sort of a snowball. And I've noticed these past couple days that I've been using it more than I should, and really I shouldn't be using it at all. So I think I'm gonna have to put that plugin back on Chrome. So that'll help me stop. And yeah, that's about it for today. I'll try and record another one of these before a month from now, but there's not really that much interesting. I'm just sort of grinding it out, just doing the work and hoping that results come sooner and later.